we're going to get this cracking here. Bing, I like that. And we got the comments here. A little bit of a lag. No biggie. Let's see what we got here. Let's see the comments here. All right. Hey, there we go. We got some people here. So, told you guys I was going to keep doing my live stuff. We got it kind of pulled up and easy to go. Some help from my amazing girlfriend. And I went fishing today, Sunday night, before I call it a night. Give you guys some updates and give you guys a little talk about utilizing basic technology, whether you're in a shore, paddleboard, kayak, boat, whatever you want to be in. There's a lot of stuff you could do that you don't need forward facing. The big talk is forward facing sonar right now. Forward facing sonar. I need forward facing sonar. It's like thousands of dollars. There's a new Eagle Eye unit for $1,000. I'm probably looking at because I don't need to see my little ice jig 100 feet out. I just want to use it for real time feedback, right? But out in the water today, I had a great day with my buddies Nick and Phil. But we went through a couple things, and me being new to this area, I finally got my boat down here. Being new to this area, I have to figure out how to sort through all this new water, relate the knowledge that I've gained over all the years to what's going on, and try to figure out how to zone in on fish, right? So first of all, if you're from shore, kayak, paddleboard, wherever you are, if my recommendation would be, you could probably, this is the app, right? It's the Garmin or Navionics boating app. Get it right on your phone, right? So you could it also gives you your location where you're at, and you get full topo maps. And with the upgraded account, I think you can even mark GPS waypoints, which could be a deal if you're in a smaller boat. But from shore, it doesn't seem like maybe you need a topography map or to know the things. But I'm going to try to give you a up close and personal look at how to zone it in. So if you can pull up the map of where you're shore pounding, where you're going to launch your kayak and stuff, you could have your phone on you, and this can be invaluable sometimes. I used to use it on the Delta before I had the coolest, like nice graphs or whatever it is, right? I'm trying to find something that's very easy to sort through to show you. So what you can do is you could take these maps, you could take this topo map that's readily available to us on our phones. You don't need an expensive graph. And what you could do is really zoom in on some of this stuff and find out where the tight breaks are, right? So I'm going to try to show you this. So you can see it on the screen there. I got the ring. You can see the striations and the lines of the topography, right? And you can see on this point right here how the lines are skewed, and you're getting little flat spots and little points. So if you can find where you're going to shore pound, where you're going to go, what you're looking for is if you have a point that comes out, as the lines get closer together, if you don't know, that means it's a steeper drop. That means it's going down or rising up quickly. Line space farther apart is a slower drop. So what you're looking for on those areas you're at, say you're on a riprap bank and it looks like a mini point, if you could find on the map one of those mini points that stretches out further than the rest, you'll see like it'll say 10 feet, 15, 20. And then one of them will say like 20 out here. It'll start getting further out, right? And then on that point, there'll be a shallow side usually that slopes gradually. And then there'll be a steep side. The fish are going to use this steep side to move up and down. It's just what fish do regardless, right? They use them like roadways and stuff. So you could actually become more efficient in your shore fishing, paddleboard, kayaking by just doing a little research, having your phone on you, using it, having it close, and figuring out your stuff a little bit before, or even using it after you're feeling something. Like, look, here's a big flat, right? You can see this here. You can see how on the shore there's a break, and there's a big flat, and then there's another break, right? So I don't know what's going on here with this. I haven't fished this, but you can see how it gets tight in here also. So if I'm going to fish this flat, I'm going to fish this tight point. It's a point. The breaks are close together. It's like a funnel where they can come up. That's a very, that's a zone that would be used by fish often, you know. So if you do have a boat and you don't have forward facing, but you have down scan, structure scan, side finder, lots of them have side finder, and they also have a map with a chip in it that'll store what you've down scanned in a 3D thing and overlay it over your map. You don't have to spend $1,000 for like $1 million for that. You can get a cheaper Garmin Echo map, something like that. It does all those things for you. But side finding is really the first forward facing. Like when you're driving, you can see 120 feet to each side, 80 feet to each side, and you get a 3D image resolution. So it's hard and it's weird to fish offshore, right? But especially on an outgoing tide, if we're talking about saltwater, outgoing tide, tidal system, these fish are going to suck back. Doesn't mean they're not going to be close to shore, but it means they're going to move somewhere to secondary cover because they know that water's evacuating. It doesn't matter if it's still a ton of water in there, they automatically start shifting out. This is just a tidal water thing. Now, you could be on here and say, you're a kook, you don't know what you're talking about. The ocean doesn't work like that. You're going to have to do some hard commits in for me on that because it's not my first rodeo. But, you know, those offshore structures can be key to getting bites. And if you're not real familiar with your structure scan or your side scan, I mean, this is really like, that was really the first thing that I used on a graph where I was like, wow, I could actually see this, mark a waypoint. So if you're looking at your structure, your side image, you can usually touch the screen on the little image, a little rock pile or something you can see, touch it, boom, mark a waypoint, go back to your maps, and then just hit guide me to waypoint. And your graph will put a direction, an arrow where you need to point the boat, and it'll say like 80 feet in front of you, 80 feet to the right. And then you could zone in on this cover and make accurate casts and make efficient use of your time trying to weed out all these locations, because no matter where you are, you have a lot of water to cover and you want to make the best use of your time while you're out there. So just the little things, using whatever technology you can, it really makes a difference. You don't have to have a ton of money or like forward facing to have fun or to utilize technology to get you more bites. And the Navionics boating app is absolutely killer. Like, even if your graph isn't the newest, you could have that right next to you and you could be using your Navionics. And also carry a tide book if you're in the any tidal water, or have it readily available on your phone. And watch for moon rises and moon sets, especially if you can plan your day. All these things are little things you could do ahead of time to maximize your efficiency on the water so that you can put more fish or have more chances of catching fish. You know, I don't really know what tide's good or bad, you know, and I know there's a lot of different cross currents when we're speaking about bay fishing or the ocean, but paying attention is the key, so that when you're in a spot and you catch a fish and you're like, yo, this was either the big ramp or the small ramp. When tides, you'll get one big movement and one small movement. So if you're on the big movement or small movement, what's the tide doing? Is it in the middle? Is it at the almost near the switch? How many hours is it before the switch? What was the moon doing? You could log all these things and really use this to go back and replicate what you've done in the water. So, you know, you don't have to be a graph genius. I was on the Delta forever, 25 years, and just using them, learning how to use them, but I didn't always have it on. I rarely fished with the front one on, you know, or I turned the back one off. But what I did use it for is for identifying bottom content. Like, graphs are great for saying, like, even if it's flat, you'll see that there's a hard bottom there. And that hard bottom can be indicative of a sand spot amongst mud, which you can smack you a halibut, or can get you any bottom transition, bottom type chains is going to get you extra bites or have a chance of holding fish usually. And you can see bait on the side finder too. So just because you don't have forward facing, don't let that, you know, put you in a bad place to where where you totally move away from your electronics, because there's lots of stuff that you could utilize. That's great. And I guess just stay positive and stay vigilant about all your equipment. If you have a depth finder, if you have your phone, if you have these apps, make sure you know how to do all the stuff with them. Because if you're going to have the equipment on the boat, or on your kayak, or in your pocket, like with our phone, you could really make sure that you maximize your time out there. And I've said that over and over, but we're all going out there to relax a little bit, but we also want to pull on some fish and catch some fish. So, our little jaunt on the water, especially because I'm breaking down new stuff, I'm on other people's boats, so I don't have all my stuff. So I'm utilizing any type of thing I can to store this information, because now that I have my boat, I'll be able to do different things while I'm out in the water, and especially with how many people fish. And if you're in a boat, how many people fish on shore, offshore things can be absolutely, gems in your pocket, especially on a busy day like the weekend or something like that. So, I don't know how often they'll play. I've caught plenty of fish offshore down here with friends. But, it's just my mind's always going and thinking and stuff. And of course, forward facing is like on everybody's mind, especially me now in a new environment. I'm like, oh, I wonder what I could do with that. And even $1,000 is a lot of money. I mean, for anybody, it's a lot of money, I guess. It should be. You can buy a lot of things with that. That's not, so 3,000 is definitely can be out of range for a lot of people. Shoot, even a trolling motor like with Spot Lock for me, I don't want to spend $4,000 on a trolling motor. That's absolutely bonkers. It just, I don't get it. So that being said, I'm always trying to use everything that I do have to the best of my abilities. So that's kind of what stirred up this talk. I got a bunch of stuff mailing out tomorrow. If you're waiting for an order, it's going out. I'll be here packing and shipping. The custom orders are almost done. The guys who have been waiting a while through the holidays slows down, but we'll be back on it vigilantly. And Tuesday evening we'll have another live. I'm not exactly sure on the time yet, but we'll get it posted up. And I'm going to do a shopping thing again, and I'm going to talk about every bait that we have in stock. I'll have them on hand, and we'll go through them. I got some bugle lips. I got some stuff that I haven't listed up, some one-off stuff or 2 or 3 here and there that don't normally go up that you'll be seeing. So, and then you'll be seeing a lot of these weedless and the bobs. They're just, I know it's not the exact season for them and stuff, but we'll be cranking them out. And the bob's a 5-inch. That thing's absolutely incredible. It's incredible yet simple. Here's a mock-up. It's just very plain. Pop it on a jig head, start catching. So happy Saturday or happy Sunday. It's Sunday, huh? Right? Yeah, I don't know what day it is actually. Doesn't matter. I'll be back on it. I think tomorrow's Monday and we'll be shipping, but I guess that's it. Just even if you don't have the nicest stuff, you could still utilize your technology to put fish in the boat. I guess that was the whole breakdown. And if you guys want to hear more about it, I could do more in-depth stuff on what to do and stuff like that with my basic knowledge of graphs and depth finders. I'm pretty good at keeping it simple and getting the maximum you can out of your graph without going into crazy details. I don't have time for that. I'm trying to catch fish. So anyways, all right, happy weekend. We'll get out of here.